Greetings, you're tuned to First Responder Chat, recorded in Columbus, Ohio, and produced by Ruscapade Media. All right, my name's Russ. I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran, and I own BuckeyeCPR training. So I've been teaching pretty much my entire adult life. I started when I was 17, and fast forward 23 years later, and I still teach for the American Red Cross, and 23 years is quite a time to be volunteering. And over those 23 years, I've learned many different things. I've come to decide I want to share some of those with you. The biggest thing that I really come across is everybody that does basic life support. The number one thing I always hear is, oh, well, is it American Heart Association? That's all we accept. And that is a great big no. They accept everything. And that's kind of what my topic is going to be today. So, like I said, I'm Russ. I have been a firefighter since '99 and an EMT since 2002. And I have been teaching, like I said, 23 years. In 2015, I decided I was going to open myself a small business, BuckeyeCPRtraining.com. And since then, it's really skyrocketed. I've done Rogue Fitness, I've done 360 employment services, and I actually do many of their clients and things through the contract. And over the years, I've really put my company out there. We're also on Facebook.com/Buckeye.est. And we've even started the Buckeye Emergency Services Training Academy, in which we're working with two different companies and helping them to set up their emergency response team, providing their first responder training, all their CPR and certifications, and then doing monthly in-service trainings. So as a firefighter and EMT, pretty much my entire adult life, I've had to do CPR every year to every 2 years, and every couple years I see it change. And over the last 2 decades, it has changed significantly. The biggest question I always get is, oh, well, do we have to still do the breathing, or is it just compressions? And they've really rolled out with something called compression-only CPR, and compression-only CPR is great for the lay responder, which is their fancy term for a normal citizen, not a first responder, police, fire, EMS, etc. And the greatest thing that we found is doing something is better than doing nothing. And people were afraid of doing breath and breathing, so they've really come out with compression-only CPR, which is still circulating some of the oxygen that they're sucking in as you're doing the compressions on their chest. And anything's better than nothing, and this has actually been statistically proven to be effective. And of course, the biggest important part is early AED defibrillation and pre-hospital care and get them to the hospital. So through the main choices for your trainings are the American Red Cross, which I still teach from them. I only do volunteer classes for them. I didn't want to create a conflict with my company and them. The American Heart Association. Then I am an Ashi instructor, American Safety Health Institute. And then there's one more out there that's kind of not really known. It's called the National Safety Council, but they don't really have a lot of recognition in the public sector. So with so many different choices, how do you pick which one that you want? Well, out of all four, I decided that Ashi worked best for me and the company. So there's a set of core components that you get to teach, and everybody in the class gets those. And then there's a set of optional components, and you have to pick several out of that, depending on which class you're teaching. And in picking several of those, it kind of caters to your audience of who your students are. I found that the people at the manufacturing aren't really concerned about rattlesnake bites and things like that. So we kind of pick through and see what it exactly is that works best for them. With the American Red Cross and the American Heart Association, you have no leverage, no leeway at all. You are required to teach their entire class the way it's written, the way it is on video, no exceptions. Ashi says, you know what, I see that this is a user-friendly thing, and there's much more out there that work better with your clients than maybe work with everybody else. So as long as you stick to this core material, you can add in your own information as long as it's in the realm of what you're teaching. And that's the real reason that I like Ashi. I've done some training videos at different facilities and incorporated that into the class for their facilities. And in the last 2 years, I've done over 300 students at their manufacturing facility and helped them set up their emergency response team. and it's really going well. They've done American Heart Association in the past, they've done Red Cross in the past, and they really seem to like Ashi with being able to have a little bit of wiggle room in what you're doing. We've actually done a training video out on the floor with some of their machines showing how to respond and how to stop the machine and how things like that work. So for new employees, that's something great. The next thing that I really like is, unlike the Red Cross or the American Heart Association at the moment, Ashi has a basic life support, and all three have basic life support courses, but we are CAPACE with 4.25 continuing education hours for EMS personnel. So having this accreditation is great because as an EMT, I have to renew my certification every 3 years in the state of Ohio. If I had my national registry, it would be every 2 years. But offering this 4.25 continuing education hours for EMS is definitely a big plus. And then the other thing that's great is our pricing is significantly lower than most of the places around here. The Red Cross charges $109 for basic life support. We charge $50, but we also have what's called a Patriot discount, and for military and veterans, since I'm a veteran, I really wanted to kind of give back and thought, how can I do that with my company? And providing lower cost and training is a great way to work with all the families and the service members. And we actually do some of the what they call yellow ribbon events for pre and post deployments or with the families, and do the actual certification course for free for them. And that's a great way to engage with the different folks. So with our 25% Patriot discount, that actually makes the basic life support cost $37.50. So $37.50 versus $109, and it's more geared towards what it is that you're doing. And all my years working at the Red Cross and volunteering, I'd say maybe a handful, 3 or 4% of the instructors are fire or EMTs that have actually been out in the field. We have several that have got their certifications, but they've not actually been out in the field doing it hands-on. And bringing that to the table is definitely a plus when you're teaching firefighter and EMTs and police officers. And for that reason, we decided we were going to extend our Patriot discount to public safety employees, police, fire, and EMS. So the same thing applies to $37.50, which is significantly cheaper than going elsewhere. And the biggest thing that I think has been a draw for our company is we work on your time. It's not fair in the years past working third shift at different places, and they offer company trainings that are mandatory or important trainings, and it's at 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, I just worked till 7 a.m., and then I have to be back again at 11, and now I have to take this day class. And I saw a pretty good opening in the market for that, and we've got folks that are night shifters. I'm not much of a day person if I can avoid it, so night shift is great for me. And I decided, you know what? We can offer 24/7 training. So we've gone out to places and done third shift training at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and it's been definitely a success that no other company here in Columbus, Ohio that I've dealt with has decided to do. So you can come to our facility, we can come to your facility, and the other biggest catch that we've done, especially a lot with childcare and families, is to go actually to the person's residence and do the skill session. So to back up a little bit, in addition to doing the in-person classes, we also have what's called blended learning. And with blended learning, you are able to take the course online. Once you complete the course, you then set up a time for us to meet for around 20 to 30 minutes, and we go through all of the skills, make sure you're comfortable with those, and from there, then you've got your certification. So if that's an option you're looking at, online training, and I can meet you at a public library for the training room. We can sign up for there. I can come to your work, your office, your business, or even if you're at your house, and that works really great to working folks that get off at 5 or 6 and not wanting to get home at 8 o'clock by the time they get done with their training. So some of the other trainings that we offer pretty much first aid CPR of all ages, adult, child, infant, AED. We've got state-of-the-art AED trainers, and the biggest one that we have training hours-wise is the Emergency Medical Response, EMR. So it's a training, it's important. It's around a 54-hour class, and it is a first responder class, and it has a portion of what you may learn in the EMT class on skills training, backboarding, how to treat different injuries, and things like that. And that is one of the things that we teach for the emergency response teams that we're doing. So, Ohio Division of EMS has put out a publication that addresses the American Heart Association. So if you are concerned with, and we get this a lot, of, oh, well, our company can only have the American Heart Association. Like, no, really you can't. And the Ohio Division of EMS and the Ohio Revised Code, they've actually put a provision in there that American Red Cross, American Safety Health Institute, Ashi, which is what we teach, both are the equivalent of the American Heart for professional rescuers. So each of those programs can teach the basic life support class, and it gives the exact same accreditation. And we have the information and the link, if interested, that we can share that with the actual publication and the place where they can go pick it up online and take a look themselves. So if you're looking for some training and you need to decide how to train, what platform works best for you, online or in person, give us a shout. BuckeyeCPRtraining.com, Facebook at buckeye.est, and you can also email Russ at BuckeyeCPRtraining.com. And if you want to check on the information on the blog, it has my phone number down on there as 419-341-2636. So hopefully we've learned something new here. Don't forget, we offer the unprecedented 25% Patriot discount for military and veterans. Our basic life support class, we also extend that to police, fire, and EMS, and that is 25% off of any class that we do. No exceptions, no exemptions at all. So, first aid, CPR, AED, wilderness first aid, emergency medical response, basic life support, and more recently, pet first aid. I have a dog who's actually enjoying watching the podcast from across the room here. Hi, Moose. So, taking care of your pets is one of the really big things, and not very many people know how to do CPR and things like that with the pets. So it's kind of a new venture, and I hopefully will get to share some of that information and intend to put out a training video here in the next month or so. But, and to recap, if you're looking for training, check out BuckeyeCPRtraining.com. You can go to Ashi, and remember, if you see something online and it says online training, get your certification instantly, and it wants you to do a little class and it costs $12, and then it gives you a card and you haven't gone and done the skills session, you don't have an actual card that's worth anything. I see on the one list of that it says American Heart Association equivalent. It doesn't say that it's the American Heart Association, and they're very tricky on their wording. So if you're looking for training, make sure you go to a reputable company. Whether it's my company, you can look up the Red Cross, American Heart Association, or Ashi in general. So, all right, well, thank you. You've listened to Russ Aikman with BuckeyeCPRtraining.com and produced by Ruscapade Media. Hopefully you have a great day, and take care.